This will be hard. What you're going to hear is the truth that takes away the false sense of safety you bring into every room, every discussion, and every connection. Someone close to you already knows more about you than you know about them. They can see the flaws in your armor, the little things you think are hidden, the small ways your face, voice, and silence give you away. And here's the scary part. They don't require years of study, therapy, or confession to get into your skull. They need seconds. Leaders, manipulators, and deceivers are all examples of predators of perception in history. They didn't change the world with raw force. They did it by being able to read people like they were open books. Most people go through life without being able to read other people's feelings, but these few have mastered the ability of immediate recognition. Your actions speak louder than your words to them, and your words show more than your actions. You assume that being courteous and ambiguous will keep you safe, but it won't. You are telling them everything. And here's the paradox. Society teaches you to be real, say what you mean, and talk to people. But the more honest you are, the more predictable you become. The more real you are, the more open you are. People can learn a lot about you just by seeing you and showing who you are. What if being real doesn't set you free but keeps you in? What if the individuals who know you best aren't your friends, but people who will use that information against you? Machiavelli, the Renaissance scholar who is frequently called ruthless, knew this was a problem. He realized that people want honesty and transparency, but they hurt themselves by giving it to others without thinking. For him, power didn't belong to the strongest or richest people. It belonged to those who could see people as they really were, without masks or guards. He realized that people don't disguise their reasons for doing things as effectively as they think they do. That the truth comes out in their pauses, their silences, and the way their eyes flicker. And whomever reads these leaks first is in charge of the game. Consider the last time someone judged you in a matter of seconds. It could have been an employer choosing whether you were trustworthy, a stranger assessing if you were weak, or a lover deciding if you were attractive. What did they see? You never asked, but they did know. You could feel it, that small change in energy, that strange feeling that they already had a fixed idea of who you were, no matter what you said. Did you have control? Or were they reading you like a script that had been written a long time ago? This is the hard truth. Everything you do, say, and choose to say has meaning. You can't leave the game. People are reading you, whether you like it or not. The smart, the sneaky, and the observant are all doing it. And most of the time, you don't even know it until it's too late. The inconsistency gets worse. If you keep your distance, you look cold, aloof, and untrustworthy. You could be exposed, vulnerable, or manipulated if you open up. There is no middle ground. Every social interaction is a place where people might perceive things in different ways. Every grin and every quiet is a weapon that may either disarm you or betray you. So here's a scary thought that should make you uneasy. How can you go through life without being an open book that other people can use? How do you stay safe in a world where the fastest readers win? You could think that being a nice person, an honest buddy, or a devoted friend will keep you safe from these kinds of threats. But history shows differently. Not because of swords or bullets, but because someone was read too easily and too fast. Empires have collapsed, reputations have shattered, and lives have been ruined. If power comes from how you see things, then the most dangerous thing is being blind to how much of yourself is already out there. And the greater fact is that you can't just hide. When you hide, you make shadows, and shadows make others suspicious. The answer is much stranger and more disturbing than that. What you're about to learn are Machiavelli's psychological strategies. They're not gimmicks to manipulate others. They're weapons of perception that have been honed over hundreds of years of human conflict. These tricks show you how to observe other people very well, which is dangerous. But more crucially, they show you how to protect yourself from people who are already reading you. The caution is still in place. Once you discover these tricks, you can't unsee them. Conversations will never be the same again. The way faces look will never change. People will show you things about themselves that are both interesting and scary. And so the question remains, nagging and unanswered. Are you ready to see the truth that others keep hidden and face the truth that you can't hide from anymore? Because what follows next will take the veil off of how people engage with each other. It's not a problem that people can read you. The issue is that you can't quit showing yourself. People are made to tell the truth. No matter how hard you attempt to hide it, your face, body, and voice will always show what's going on within. It's not a weakness in your character, it's how nature made you. And this is where psychology and philosophy meet at a scary point. Your identity is never completely yours. It exists in part in the way people look at it. Carl Jung famously observed that the human mind is like a home with numerous rooms. Some are bright and furnished, while others are dark and locked away. But when you go out into the world, you don't take the whole house with you. You have a mask on, which Jung dubbed the persona. This mask is designed to keep you safe and hide you from the world. But it breaks like all masks do. A frightened laugh comes out, a slow answer suggests uncertainty, a look lasts too long, and in that moment the disguise is gone and the secret rooms of your house are shown. Nietzsche went even further, saying that people are more interpreters than they are truth-tellers. There are no facts, he wrote, only interpretations. That means that it doesn't matter what you think you are, it matters what other people think you are. So, identity is not a fixed truth, but a battleground where perception determines reality. You can say that you are honest, strong, and dignified, but if other people see your reluctance as a sign of weakness, their view is more important than your own. In a culture where power is based on how others see things, this is deadly. Machiavelli, being more practical than both Jung and Nietzsche, laid this truth explicit. He noticed that men are quick to condemn, fast to believe, and slow to forgive. A single gesture, a sign of fear, a slip of hubris, or a hint of naivety can stay in people's thoughts for years, and once you have a mark, no amount of words can get rid of it. He said this is why presidents, generals, and kings need to learn about both politics and human behavior. Because the crowd can't tell what you want. They can see your face, hear your voice, and see when you speak. And they make judgments. Always. This hidden problem, the fact that we will always be read, has significant origins in how our minds have evolved throughout time. For thousands of years, survival depended on how people saw things, not on weaponry. Who could be trusted in the tribe? Who was a threat? Who was weak? Our forefathers learned to read faces, voices, and movements with amazing accuracy. People who could read other people well lived. Those who did not, died. And so, the capacity to understand was ingrained in our biology as a weapon. But this is the modern trap. The world has changed, but our instincts have not. You live in cities, work in offices, and talk through screens, but your body still sends out signals like it did around the fire. The small indicators of fear, the small changes in dominance, and the signs of submission are all still there. And worse, in a time when people are preoccupied with authenticity and self-expression, they share far more than they used to, without even recognizing it. Psychology corroborates this through the principle of thin slicing, the capacity to make precise evaluations of an individual based on minimal observations. Research indicates that individuals may frequently evaluate another's competency, reliability, or even IQ within moments of observing their visage or hearing their voice. This means that people don't have to know you well to make a fair judgment about you. They only need to look. And with that look, your fate is already leaning one way or the other. This is why Machiavelli's ideas are still so dangerous and so important. He knew that people show who they are all the time, without even realizing it. And since they can't stop exposing, other people can't stop interpreting. There is no space where nothing is said. Silence is still loud. Stillness can even talk. The horrible irony is that you think you are in charge of your story. You choose your words carefully, work on your image, and keep your reputation in check. But something deeper is shouting louder than your words the whole time. Your body, your eyes, your doubt. You can't control these betrayals, and those who know how to interpret them, those who use Machiavelli's tactics, see more of you than you want them to. And so the problem's roots are evident. You are stuck between Jung's mask, Nietzsche's view, and Machiavelli's harsh realities. You want to be real, yet being real makes you vulnerable. You want to hide, but hiding makes you even more visible. You are in a paradox where every action, every quiet, and every motion reveals something. So the burning question is not whether you can avoid being read. You can't. The question is if you can read as well as you can read. Is it possible to turn the mirror around, change the focus, and use the same mental tools against people who use them against you? Those who can't stay blind, and being blind in terms of perception is the first step toward losing. The traps that are most hazardous are the ones you don't see but live in. And this secret problem, which is that you are continually showing yourself, has far worse effects than you believe. It doesn't just affect how people get along with each other. It influences your whole life by silently deciding who rises, who falls, who leads, and who follows. Think about this. Every promotion, every buddy, and every betrayal starts with how you see things. You are judged by signals you don't even know you're sending before your talents are tested and your words are heard. You were fidgeting at a meeting? Read as lack of skill. You won't look someone in the eye? Read as being dishonest. Your too big smile, your too big laugh? Read as if you were desperate. These judgments, even though you don't know it, are sticky. They attach to you and change how you interact with others in the future. And once perception becomes identity, it's almost tough to get away from it. This is when cognitive biases really hurt. Once someone has an opinion about you, the confirmation bias makes them look for proof that it is true. If they think you're weak, every time you hesitate makes that idea stronger. If they think you're arrogant, every time you say something with confidence, it proves them right. People stop seeing what you do as it is and start seeing it through a story they've already made up. You are no longer living as yourself. You are living as the character that other people have made up for you. And the scariest part? You do the same thing to other people. You are just as bad as everyone else at making rapid judgments, quick labels, and quick classifications about people. You don't see people for who they are. You view them as shadows that are molded by what you expect of them. This indicates that the trap is two-sided. You are not only being misunderstood, but you are also continually misreading. This never-ending cycle of wrong perceptions creates a society where truth doesn't matter and looks are the only thing that does. This is why a smile, a gesture, or a performance can change the course of whole communities. Consider politicians who attain power not due to their ideologies, but rather because of their capacity to exude confidence, convey empathy, and project authority. Neuroscience backs this up. Your brain is set up to trust what it sees more than what it thinks. Research indicates that individuals frequently vote for candidates who appear competent rather than those who are genuinely qualified. This isn't how democracy works. This is a play, and you are both the actor and the audience, caught up in the show. But the effects go even deeper, affecting your personal life, your identity, and how you consider yourself. You feel like people don't understand you when they read you wrong. You feel exposed when someone reads you too well. You start to get used to it slowly. You start acting, polishing your masks, and changing how you act to control how other people see you. And by doing that, you forget who you really are. Nietzsche said, "Become who you are." But how can you when every move you make is a performance, and every performance could put you in jail? So the hidden effect is feeling alone, not just from other people, but also from yourself. One day you wake up and don't sure if your grin is real, if your stillness is strength or fear, or if your confidence is really yours or just a costume. You are stuck between mirrors and masks, between what you want and what other people think you want. This trap also makes people manipulative. People who can read well and see clearly can bend you to their will. They know what you're bad at before you do. They know what scares you before you say it. They know what you want: respect, recognition, and love, and they keep it just out of reach, tugging you in the direction they want. They don't think you're a mystery. You are easy to guess. And being able to forecast things is what keeps control. Think about the relationships in your life that didn't work out. Was it really a betrayal? Or did you give away too much too fast, and someone used that against you? Think about the chances you missed. Was there actually a lack of skill? Or did you send out the wrong messages, energy, and version of yourself? These are not mistakes. These are the hidden effects of a world where perception is more important than truth. The awful irony is that this trap doesn't feel like one. It feels normal. It feels right. You think you're free because you can choose what you say, what you wear, and how you act. But the underlying currents of psychology and perception are already affecting the outcome. You aren't as free as you believe you are, and thus the need becomes more urgent. To stay blind is to live as a puppet of what you see. Seeing plainly can be uncomfortable, but it can also give you back your power. You don't have to choose between hiding and showing. You can either be blind or see. Now we may talk about the revolt. If perception is the quiet battleground where your fate is decided, then the only way to move forward is to learn how to fight back. You can't run away or hide. You have to learn how to employ the weapons that have been used against you. When you decide to stop being the one who reads and start becoming the one who reads, the revolt starts. So far, the story has been about being trapped in a silent conflict where you are always being seen, assessed, and influenced by how others see you. But rebellion always starts when people become conscious. You know the door when you see the cage. The question is if you have the guts to go through it. The first truth of rebellion is that you can't stop others from reading you, but you can choose how they read you. This is the surprising change that Machiavelli hinted at, realizing that control doesn't come from hiding, but from being open. Power is not in being quiet. Power is in organizing. If other people will always make up their own meanings, you should offer them the meanings you want them to have. When you stop denying the game and start playing it right, the rebellion starts. Think of Scipio Africanus, a Roman general who pretended to be calm even when he was about to lose. His men saw his calmness as a sign that they would win, which made them feel better. Scipio really had a lot of doubts, but he knew that how people see things affects how things really are. He molded reality to his will by mastering what other people read in him. This is the first weapon of rebellion, sending signals on purpose. Every gesture, every pause, and every tone of voice is no longer an accident, but a choice. But rebellion also needs a bigger change in how you think. Carl Jung talked about bringing together the shadow, which is the elements of yourself that you hide or don't like. When you try to hide fear, insecurity, or rage, they come out in your body language, your words, and even your unconscious signals. You have to acknowledge your vulnerability before you can hide it. It's strange, but those who accept their shadow leak less because they aren't fighting with themselves anymore. They become complete. And being entire shows strength. To fight against being misinterpreted, you must first stop misinterpreting yourself. Nietzsche's advice adds to the complexity. He told the person to be a maker of values, not just someone who follows them. In terms of perspective, this means not living as a character in someone else's story. Don't let other people tell you that you are confident, trustworthy, or powerful. You can define it by what you do, how you stand, how you speak, and how you are. The revolt against perception doesn't mean denying it. It means presenting a self that is so purposeful and linked with your inner self that others have no option but to see you the way you want them to. This is where practical rebellion starts. Learn to be still. The fidgeting hands, flashing eyes, and restless body show that something is wrong inside. Learn to stay still and let silence work for you. Stillness looks like strength because turmoil can't hold it. Keep your eyes in check. A look can hurt or inspire more than words can. Know when to look someone in the eye and when to look away. Too much shows that you're hungry. Too little shows fear. The balance shows who is in charge. Take your time when you speak. The hurried word shows that you are worried. The term deliberate gets people's attention. People learn how to listen by how you talk. Pick your reveals. Don't leak without meaning to. Instead, leak with purpose. Share a flaw, but only if you want to. Be open about your weaknesses, but only when you want to. You hide what has to be hidden by choosing what to show. These are not tricks. They are ways of fighting against being exposed without thinking. They are how you turn the unavoidable act of being read into a planned show of dominance. But rebellion is not just about protecting yourself. It's also about offensive or looking forth. Most individuals don't know what they're doing when they engage with others. But you can get better at it. Learn how to see micro-expressions, such as the flash of astonishment, the flicker of scorn, and the microsecond of doubt before the mask comes back. Learn to listen to what people say and what they don't say. For example, the pause before agreeing, the overemphasis on false enthusiasm, and the silence where the truth should be. These are holes in other people's masks. The same leaks that hurt you hurt others too. Machiavelli said that when men are scared, want something, or want to get ahead, they are easy to foresee. Watch how people change when they are under these kinds of stress. Do they get smaller or more aggressive when they feel threatened? Do they hesitate or jump when they want something? Do they hide or show off their ambition when it shines? These tells show not only who they are, but also how to get them to do what you want. Reading someone else means taking away their power to surprise you and holding the blueprint of their thoughts in your hands. You don't go blindly anymore once you have the map. You choose the way. So the rebellion is twofold: being able to control your own signals and being able to control other people's signals. But at its core, there is a deeper change. You need to quit being afraid of what other people think of you. You are a prisoner of perception as long as you are afraid of being read. The rebel is not afraid of being watched. The rebel welcomes it, bends it, and uses it. Like a swordsman who knows that every duel will show off his style, but makes sure that showing off his style helps him win. Living this manner is not comfortable. It takes a lot of discipline, alertness, and vigilance. But it also sets free. You can escape the prison of unconscious exposure if you learn how to read and be read. You don't have to deal with other people's interpretations anymore. You pick the part you play. You decide what kind of mask to wear. You decide which truths you let slip through. And there is the last paradox of rebellion. The more you learn to play the game, the less it holds you back. You can take off your masks, show your true self, and use silence whenever you want. Getting away doesn't give you freedom. It comes from being good at it. But this mastery brings up an even deeper question, one that is scarier than the trap itself. What is truth if you can change how people view things and how they react? Where does the mask stop and the self start? This is the line we now cross. The final truth, the most dangerous thing we could ever know. The insurrection offers you power, but it also pulls you down into a darker abyss. You learn how to read other people, protect yourself, and master signs. But then a scary thought comes to mind. If everything is a performance, every mask is a strategy, and every perception is formed by decision, what is left of the truth? This is when most people turn away. The mind recoils at the idea that authenticity could be simply another mask and that identity could be nothing more than a made-up fantasy. But this is what Machiavelli, Nietzsche, and even Jung are all trying to get across. Truth is not an absolute. It is a weapon. And the one who learns to use it changes the world itself. Truth has always been weak, you see. The history of civilization is not a narrative of truth prevailing over falsehood, but of perception determining truth. Empires said they were just, and people believed them. People obeyed when rulers said they had the authority to do so. Leaders showed they were sure of themselves, and followers let go of their doubts. Your world is not based on facts, it is based on your beliefs. And conviction is acting like something is genuine when it's not. This is why Machiavelli told leaders that it is better to look good than to actually be virtuous. A king who is good but seems weak will be killed. A corrupt dictator who seems strong will stay in power. It's not what is that matters, but what others see. And once you understand this, you have the most frightening power of all, the power to shape the world that other people will live in. But this is where the contradiction resides. If truth is flexible and reality is what you see, who are you really? When the mask is off, when no one is watching, and when there is no one to read or trick, who are you? This question stays with people who are good at the game. The more skilled you become, the more you question whether anything exists beneath the masks. Carl Jung cautioned about this peril. He realized that living just through the character, or the mask he showed the world, meant he could lose himself completely. Yes, the persona is useful. It protects, it makes deals, it talks to you. But if you never bring your inner self into your life, if you never face your darkness, then your persona will take over. You don't know if your smile is real or just another weapon. You don't know if your silence is a choice or a plan anymore. You are the show. Nietzsche, on the other hand, had a different solution. He thought that identity isn't something you find. It's something you make. Become who you are, he said. Not by finding some secret truth deep inside, but by making a self that is so strong and intentional that it goes beyond the masks. The mask is not your enemy. It is the clay you use to shape your greater self. You make sense of something that didn't have any significance before by accepting it and mastering it. The final realization is not despair, but freedom. The mask and the self are not foes, they are collaborators. The revolt against perception culminates not in the demise of authenticity, but in a superior type of authenticity, one that is elected rather than enforced. You won't be misinterpreted if you pick how you want to be read. If you make a truth powerful enough to live by, you don't have to lie. Consider Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic ruler. He understood the drama of power, the need for masks, and how important appearances are. But in his meditations, he wrote to himself in private, not to tear down the mask, but to make the man behind it stronger. The mask worked for Rome. The truth inside him helped him. He lived in both worlds without losing himself. The way to do this is to learn the performance without forgetting the performer. Now think about your own life. People read you every day, including strangers, co-workers, lovers, and adversaries. You let out realities you don't want to every day. Every day, other people make choices that affect your future. But what if you didn't leave this up to chance anymore? What if you made a conscious choice about what you wanted to show and what you wanted to hide? What if you stopped being confused by perception and started using it as a weapon? This isn't about manipulating others just for the sake of it. It is about freedom, sovereignty, and survival. In a world where perception is what makes things true, those who know how to control perception are free. People who stay blind are slaves to what other people think. The last rebellion is not against being read, but against not being able to control how you are read. But the most important thing you will learn from this is considerably deeper. Once you learn to perceive the world as a stage full of masks and read other people as readily as they read you, you'll never be able to unsee it. Every interaction will be different. Every face will show more than it wants to. Every stillness will have a loud significance. And this vision will stick with you because you'll see how weak other people's illusions are and how weak your own have always been. The truth is that people are not creatures of truth. They are creatures of perception. And if you want independence, power, and to be able to go through this world without being crushed by what others think, you need to quit pretending that you don't. You need to regard perception as a tool, not a trap. You must recognize that masks are not lies. They are a way to stay alive. They are part of a plan. They are works of art. And so the nagging question comes back, sharper than ever. Now that you know the truth, will you keep leaking yourself to others, or will you take the mask, learn the part, and write the fiction they will believe? You can choose. But keep this in mind, the world will always read you. The only thing you need to know is whether they read the version you give them or the one you tell them to.